This will yield excellent data, and if there is a higher number than the thought of undetected cases, then we will see the projected mortality rates plummet, e.g. instead of this thing globally, it might be much lower. We don't need to test everyone, just a good few random samples. From reading replies, there have been some in Italy, Iceland. Germany is going to do 2 big ones. One in the US. The awesome volunteer firefighter vintage shirt. Just a week ago there were warnings from the police about coronavirus scams criminals would call, pretend to be from the health authorities and say that the called person needs to be tested and have their house disinfected. They would then turn up in protective gear and steal all valuables while pretending to disinfect the house. It's a variant of an old scam. Awesome volunteer firefighter vintage shirt. Tank top. V-neck ladies tee for men and women. V-neck. Tank top. This will yield excellent data, and if there is a higher number than the thought of undetected cases, then we will see the projected mortality rates plummet. This is the key data we need to have correct and not erroneous information derived from it. Odds are the awesome volunteer firefighter vintage shirt. So until we can ramp up antibody testing, we live with uncertainty, which usually translates to fear. My understanding since the beginning has been that SARS-CoV-2 is not incredibly deadly. However, it spreads like nothing we've ever seen and overloads the medical system with cases, a few of which will result in death. The people likely to recover are sent home because there is not enough room in the ICE. Official awesome volunteer firefighter vintage sweatshirt. Hoodie, sweatshirt. There was one doctor in Italy who projected that like 20 or 30 million people there had it. The awesome volunteer firefighter vintage shirt. It is almost too contagious. Only a small fraction of people who have it are considered cases. There are many scores of people who are mild symptoms, or just aren't severe enough to get tested. But when a disease like this spreads, of course, many people will still die, because we don't have reliable treatments, a vaccine, and it is just spreading so quickly. Even a small mortality rate for an illness that spreads to millions of people will result in a lot of KF deaths. There was one doctor in Italy who projected that like 20 or 30 million people there had it. Other product.